Hey guys, another One Take review. Today I'm going to review the latest Honningbarna album, which is called Animorphs. Before I do this review, though, I do want to say I apologize if I mispronounce anything in this video. I've tried to learn how to pronounce some of the things that are Norwegian from this, so I've just held off on listing tracks for this video because I tried and just failed miserably, and I'm still gonna have to pronounce a couple names, so if I get anything wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. Yeah, that's all I just wanted to say. But with that being said, allow me to move on to the actual review. Now, generally speaking, I really like finding non-English music. I just think it's very interesting to hear other countries' takes on different styles of music that may actually be very different from what is generally the American or the general English-speaking version of a genre. And Norway has always been a particularly intriguing country because it's such a gorgeous place that I would love to actually see. And at the same time, it has a history of such dark music like black metal. And apparently, it's got like a hardcore, post-hardcore scene going. And I wasn't really aware of this, but I was just looking for non-English albums, and this record popped up, and it interested me. And I skimmed through Honningbarna's back catalog a little bit before listening to this record, and I have to say I was pretty pleasantly surprised overall. Edvard Valberg fronts Honningbarna, and he is a really strong vocalist. He can be very rough at times, but it's also he has the ability to be very smooth and controlled. And overall, he just has a very anthemic and energetic presence. He kind of is a big portion of what makes the band so upbeat and so infectious, even in their harsher moments. And this record often does kind of sound like the music that would soundtrack a mass fistfight at an underground punk club or something like that. And I do think that Valberg deserves a good portion of the credit for that. He really is just a passionate frontman that just kind of puts his all into the majority of this record. Instrumentally, Animorphs is solid too. If I mean, it's a bit predictable considering the genre, but it's also kind of hard to name a lot of hardcore albums that aren't predictable just based on the hardcore tag. And this is just solid musicianship here. You've got simple but effective guitar work. You've got steady drumming that acts as a solid backbone for the band. You actually have a particularly nice bass tone here, in my opinion. It's solid musicianship, and it's obvious that the band, even in their more predictable manner, have poured their heart and soul into this album, and that is something that I would never disrespect. I think it's always great to hear bands just really putting themselves into their music, and they obviously have on this record. If I'm being honest, my only criticism of Animorphs isn't even a legitimate criticism, it's my own fault. And like I said at the beginning, I do not understand the Norwegian language. And I do feel like that does kind of take down my enjoyment of this album to some extent. I am a firm believer in that music requires no common language and that you can enjoy any album no matter what language it's in. But at the same time, I feel like this is a very lyric-based album, and that I'm kind of missing out on at least some of the point by not understanding the language. Just the way that vocals and lyrics are presented very majorly and directly to the listener just kind of gives me these vibes that I should be understanding what is being said and that it's pretty important overall. Of course, I could be totally wrong and that this album could mean absolutely nothing. Again, if anyone watching this speaks Norwegian, please tell me if I'm just being a complete idiot with this. But it does kind of come across like that it's a pretty important factor to the album. But overall, I don't think it like weighs down the enjoyment of this album too terribly much. If I could sum up Animorphs in a phrase, it would probably be controlled chaos. And I mean, there are just a number of songs on here that are so very close to just descending into very frantic insanity, but they never quite do. They kind of go on to the brink, but they never quite go over the edge and just become pure chaos. And that's the thing I like about this album. That's one of my favorite aspects of a lot of different punk and hardcore albums. Just that getting so close to completely thrashing out, but never quite actually getting there. And that's ultimately for the better. Animorphs is just very well controlled overall, and any punk album, no matter how good the performers and energy that you have is, if something is too underperformed or lazily thrown together and just sort of thrashed out, then it can really ruin the record, even if you do have a very solid concept behind it. And Animorphs finds that really great middle ground between energy and restraint, which makes it a much stronger record than it otherwise would have been without. So overall, Animorphs is a very enjoyable listen. Like I said before, I do think being a native of their home country of Norway, or at least a speaker of the Norwegian language, the specific dialect of the city of Kristiansand, in particular, is the kind of Norwegian that is being spoken here. I do feel like that heightens the album, but at the same time, it's enough energy and strong musicianship to warrant giving this a listen no matter what. And I will give this 3.5 stars. It's a fun record, and I would recommend anyone who is looking for some just generally fun punk music to check this out, in all honesty. And with that being said, that's the end of this review, so see you guys in the next one.